Story 1. The Boy in the Paper House. When I accepted the tutoring job in Nagano, I thought I was living out a Studio Ghibli fantasy. I was 23, fresh out of college, and eager to escape my mundane life in Ohio. The offer was generous: room, board, and a hefty salary to teach English to the son of the wealthy Tanaka family. Their estate was beautiful but isolating. A sprawling traditional house nestled deep in the mountains, surrounded by cedar forests. The nearest train station was a 40-minute drive away. The Tanakas were polite but distant. The father was a businessman who was rarely home, and the mother, Emmy, was a fragile woman who spent most of her time in her room, resting. My student was their only son, Kenji. He was 8 years old. The agency file described Kenji as gifted but introverted. That was a polite way of saying something was seriously wrong with him. The first time I met him, he was sitting on the tatami floor of his room, perfectly still, staring at a dead beetle. He didn't look up when I slid the shoji screen open. "Hello, Kenji-kun," I said, using my best cheerful teacher voice. "I'm Sarah." He slowly turned his head. His eyes were devoid of any childish curiosity. They were cold, flat, and assessing. "You smell like milk," he said in perfect, unaccented English. I laughed nervously. "Do I?"
"The last one smelled like cigarettes," he continued, turning back to the beetle. She didn't stay long. That should have been my first red flag. The first few weeks were manageable, but unsettling. Kenji was brilliant. He soaked up vocabulary like a sponge, but he used it to say the most disturbing things. During a lesson on animals, instead of "the cat runs," he wrote, "The cat stops breathing if you hold it tight enough." When I corrected him, he just smiled. A tight, mirthless expression that didn't reach his eyes. Things escalated quickly. Small items from my room started disappearing. My hairbrush, a tube of lipstick, a photo of my parents. I asked Emmy about it, but she just bowed apologetically and said, "Kenji is playful. Please forgive him." Then came the night of the cicadas. It was midsummer, and the sound of cicadas in the mountains was deafening. I woke up around 2 a.m. because my room felt unusually cold. The sliding door to the garden was wide open. I got up to close it, and my bare foot stepped on something sharp. I yelped and hopped back, turning on the light. Scattered across my futon and the floor were dozens of dead cicadas. Some were crushed, their fluids staining my white sheets. Others were arranged in a perfect circle around my pillow. In the center of the circle lay my missing hairbrush, with all the bristles cut off. I felt sick. I knew it was Kenji. I locked my door that night, or at least I tried to. The old sliding doors didn't really lock, they just latched. The next day I confronted him during our lesson. "Why did you put bugs in my room, Kenji?" I asked firmly. He didn't look up from his workbook. "I wanted to see if you would scream." The cigarette lady screamed a lot. "Where is she now?" I asked, a cold dread settling in my stomach. "In the well," he whispered. Then he giggled. I told myself he was just a creepy kid making up stories. But I started looking for another job online that night. The breaking point happened a week later. I was in the bath, a deep wooden ofuro tub, relaxing after a long day. The bathroom had a small window that looked out into the garden. It was steamed up so I couldn't see out. Suddenly, I heard a thump against the glass. Then another. Thump. I wiped the steam away with my hand.
Pressed against the glass was Kenji's face. He was grinning, his eyes wide and manic. He was holding something up to the window. It was a lighter. Before I could react, I heard the whoosh of flames. He had doused the wooden window frame in something flammable, probably lighter fluid, and set it on fire. The old wood caught instantly. Smoke began to curl into the bathroom. I scrambled out of the tub, wrapping a towel around myself, choking on the smoke. I tried the door, but it wouldn't budge. Someone had wedged a heavy object against it from the outside. "Kenji, open the door!" I screamed, banging on the wood. Through the crackling of the fire, I heard his voice, calm and melodic. "The milk is boiling now." I had to break the glass of the burning window and climb out naked into the freezing night air, cutting my legs on the shards. I ran to the neighbor's house, a mile down the road, screaming for help. When the fire department put out the blaze, they found Kenji sitting in the garden, roasting marshmallows over the smoldering ruins of the bathroom. He told the police I had fallen asleep with a candle. The Tanakas paid me a settlement to leave quietly and not press charges. I took the money and flew back to Ohio the next morning. I still have scars on my legs from the window glass, but the worst scar is the memory of that little boy's face through the smoke, watching me burn like it was his favorite TV show. I looked up the Tanakas recently. Their house burned down completely last year. No one survived. I guess Kenji finally got bored of just watching. Story 2. The Soulmate in Gangnam. I moved to Seoul, South Korea, about 2 years ago to teach English. Like a lot of girls my age, I'll admit I was a bit swept up in the romanticized idea of living there. K-dramas, safe streets, cute cafes, and maybe meeting a nice guy. I live in a studio apartment in Mapogu. It's small, but cozy. For the first 6 months, I was lonely. The language barrier is tough, and the expat community can be transient. So, when I met Ji-hoon, it felt like the universe was finally throwing me a bone. We met at a trendy jazz bar in Hongdae. I was waiting for a friend who flaked on me, looking awkward and sipping a cocktail alone. Ji-hoon walked up and asked, in near-perfect English, "Is this seat taken, or are you saving it for a ghost?" He was charming, handsome, and dressed in that impeccable, clean-cut Korean style. Long coat, turtleneck, expensive watch. We talked for hours. Here's the hook. He seemed to be the male version of me. I told him I was from a tiny town in Oregon that nobody knows. He smiled and said, "Oh, near the coast? I heard the saltwater taffy there is legendary." I was floored. Most people don't even know Oregon exists, let alone specific regional candies. I told him I loved old-school 90s hip-hop. 10 minutes later, the DJ randomly played a Tribe Called Quest song, and Ji-hoon winked at me. By the end of the night, he asked for my Kakao Talk ID. I gave it to him, feeling like I'd just met my soulmate. We dated for about a month. He was perfect. Too perfect. He anticipated my needs before I even voiced them. One rainy Tuesday, I woke up with a migraine. I hadn't told anyone. At noon, Ji-hoon showed up at my school's front gate with painkillers and my favorite pumpkin porridge. "How did you know?" I asked, touched but confused. "I just had a feeling," he said, smoothing my hair. "We're connected." The red flags started appearing in week 6. We were at a norebang, karaoke room, and he unlocked his phone to pick a song. He typed in his passcode. I glanced over. It was my birthday. "That's weird," I laughed nervously. Is your mom's birthday October 12th too? He froze for a split second, then laughed. Yeah, crazy coincidence, right? But the vibe shifted.
I started noticing things.
He knew my schedule too well. He knew which coworkers I liked and which ones I found annoying, even though I rarely mentioned them by name. The breaking point came last weekend. I was at his apartment in Gangnam. It was a high-end place, super secure. He hopped in the shower and left his iPad on the coffee table. I know I shouldn't have snooped, but that birthday passcode thing was eating at me. I tried the code, 1012. It unlocked. I opened his photo gallery, expecting maybe to find evidence of a cheating ex-girlfriend. Instead, I found a folder labeled Project Sarah. My blood turned to ice. I clicked it. There were hundreds of photos, but they weren't photos he took of us on dates. There were screenshots of my Instagram stories from 2 years ago, before I even moved to Korea. There were photos of me walking to the subway station from angles suggesting he was following me from a distance. There were notes. Detailed, manic notes in Korean. I used the translator app on my phone to read a few. Target acquired. Hongdae Bar, 8 p.m., wearing the blue dress. She likes Oregon taffy. Order online for bait. She lost her wallet at the club on Friday. I have the ID.
I know the address now. My stomach dropped.
2 months ago, right before I met Ji-hoon, I had lost my wallet at a club. I thought it was gone forever. He hadn't met me at the jazz bar. He had found my wallet, or stolen it, studied my ID, stalked my entire online footprint, crafted a persona that matched my dream guy, and then staged our meeting. Every coincidence, the music, the food, the hobbies, was a calculated move based on data he had mined from my life. And then I saw the last photo in the album. It was taken from inside my apartment. It was a photo of me sleeping. He had a key. He must have made a copy when he found my wallet before returning the contents or staging the meet cute. I heard the shower turn off. I didn't confront him. I didn't scream. I knew that if I let him know I knew, I might not leave that apartment alive. I wiped the iPad screen with my sleeve, placed it back exactly how it was, and sat on the couch. When he came out, towel around his waist, smiling that perfect smile, I told him my mom had called with a family emergency and I had to go home. I acted sad. I kissed him goodbye. The second I got into the elevator, I dry heaved. I went straight to the police station. They were polite, but unhelpful. Since he hadn't physically harmed me, and because I had invited him into my life, they said it was a civil matter. They didn't understand the gravity of the project folder. I packed my bags that night. I broke my lease. I'm currently staying at a friend's place in a different city, waiting for my flight back to the US. But yesterday, I got a message on KakaoTalk from a new number. It was just a photo. A picture of my empty apartment, taken from the doorway, with the caption, "Where did you go, soulmate? We were just getting started." I'm leaving Korea tomorrow, and I'm never using my real birthday for anything ever again. Story 3. The job at Red Creek Station. If you've ever scrolled through Instagram, you've seen the van life dream. Beautiful sunsets, beaches, freedom. That's what I wanted. I was 22, taking a gap year before law school, and I decided to backpack across Australia. But Australia is expensive. After 2 months of partying in Sydney, my bank account was running on fumes. I needed money. Fast.
I went on Gumtree, which is like the Craigslist of Australia,
And found a listing for farm hands wanted at a cattle station in the Northern Territory. The post was written by a woman named Claire. She sounded like the salt of the earth, friendly, maternal. She offered great pay, free room and board, and said I'd be helping look after her 3 kids and feeding the horses. We video chatted once. The connection was terrible. Just a pixelated blur and choppy audio. But Claire seemed nice. She laughed a lot, talked about how much her daughters would love an American big sister. It felt safe. I booked a flight to Alice Springs. For those who don't know, the Alice is literally in the middle of nowhere. It's red dirt and heat for 1,000 miles in every direction. I landed around 2 p.m. I expected Claire to be there. Instead, I got a text. "Hey, love. Stuck with a bogged calf at the creek. My brother-in-law Bluey is picking you up in the white Land Cruiser. See you soon." I was disappointed, but not worried. This is the Outback. Things happen. 10 minutes later, a beat-up, dusty white Land Cruiser pulled up. The man driving didn't look like a Bluey. He looked rough. Greasy hair, sun-damaged skin, and a nervous twitch in his jaw. "You the Yank?" he grunted, not even getting out to help with my bag. "I'm Maya," I said, tossing my backpack in the tray. "You're Bluey?" He stared at me for a second, blankly, then nodded. "Yeah, hop in." We drove out of town and onto the Stewart Highway. For the first hour, I tried to make conversation. I asked about the station, the cattle, the weather. He gave me one-word answers. "Yep," "Nah," "Hot." Then we turned off the paved highway onto a dirt track. Red dust billowed up behind us, choking the view. My cell service dropped from 1 bar to SOS only. The vibe in the cab shifted. It felt heavy. "So," I said, trying to break the tension. "Claire told me the girls are excited to meet me. How old are they now? 6 and 8? Bluey gripped the steering wheel tighter. His knuckles turned white. "Who?" "The girls," I said. "Claire's daughters." He paused. A long, uncomfortable silence stretched out. "Right," he said finally. "The kids. Yeah, they're around." My stomach dropped. He didn't know them. I pulled out my phone, pretending to check the time. I had downloaded offline maps of the area beforehand. I zoomed in on our location. According to the map, Red Creek Station was supposed to be 40 kilometers north. We were heading southwest, deep into designated unincorporated Crown Land. It was nothing out here, just abandoned mines and scrub. "Hey," I said, my voice shaking slightly. "I think I'm gonna be sick." "The heat is getting to me. Can you pull over for a sec?" "We're almost there," he snapped. His tone was aggressive now. "No, really. I'm gonna throw up in your truck." I gagged dramatically, covering my mouth. He cursed, slammed on the brakes, and the truck skidded to a halt in a cloud of dust. Before the truck even fully stopped, I grabbed the door handle. It was locked from the inside. Child lock. My heart hammered against my ribs like a trapped bird. I looked at him. He wasn't looking at the road. He was looking at me, and he was smiling. A nasty, predatory smile. "Relax, darling," he whispered. "Claire ain't waiting, but the boys are." Adrenaline is a hell of a drug. I didn't think. I reacted. I had a heavy metal water bottle, hydro flask, in my lap.
I swung it with both hands, smashing it into the side of his head. He yelled, clutching his ear, blood spurting through his fingers. I scrambled over the center console, unlocked the driver's side door, and threw myself out onto the red dirt. I didn't grab my bag, I just ran. I ran back toward the main highway. I ran until my lungs burned and the soles of my shoes felt like they were melting. I heard the truck engine revving behind me, turning around. I dove into a dried-up creek bed, hiding under a tangle of dead branches, holding my breath. I watched the white Land Cruiser drive slowly past, hunting. He did 2 loops before speeding off in the other direction. I walked for 6 hours back to the highway. A road train, one of those massive 4-trailer semi-trucks, saw me waving my shirt and stopped. The driver, a terrifyingly large man named Big Dave, was actually an angel. He gave me water and radioed the police immediately. The police investigated. There was no Red Creek station. The coordinates led to a derelict mining shack. The phone number Claire used was a burner phone bought in a supermarket. And the man? The description didn't match anyone local, but the police told me that stretch of highway is notorious for disappearances. Backpackers go missing there all the time. I flew home to Chicago the next day. I left my clothes, my camera, everything in that truck. I still have nightmares about the red dust. And every time I see a job posting that sounds too good to be true, I remember the look on that man's face when he realized I knew there were no kids.